Okay. This episode of Nutrition for Noobs Summer Short only has one host, so I think we should only play half the theme song. So it's just me riding solo today, Kevin, your chief noob, and I'm all alone today because Michelle's got a lot on her plate. Did you catch that? A food pun. Even alone, I do food puns. So I decided to give her a break and I'd stop harassing her for one episode, and I would do this by myself. And a note to my co-host, if she's listening, don't get used to it, Michelle. I'll be harassing you very soon, don't worry. So over the past year, you all have heard my ongoing saga of trying to create the ultimate plant-based Caesar salad dressing recipe. And as you might have heard in recent episodes, I've come pretty close. I don't know if I should call it the ultimate because I'm just setting myself up for failure, but it's pretty darn good, I think, and reasonably authentic tasting to an actual Caesar salad dressing. And it seems that there's actually some interest from some of our listeners about what that recipe is. I'm calling out to you, Bernadette, Gabe, Sameli, and Victoria. It's great when our listeners give us some feedback, and all of you have asked for my actual recipe. So it might seem a little bit weird to dictate a recipe on a podcast, and I don't want any of you crashing your cars while listening to this, so eyes on the road, hands on the wheel, okay? So what I'll do is I'll put the actual list of ingredients in the show notes, so you can copy and paste that afterwards, and I'll just quickly go through the process here and let you know how incredibly easy it is. So this recipe makes about half a cup or so, which will be several salads worth. It all depends exactly how much dressing you add and what lettuce you're using and everything else. I usually make a kale salad, but you can obviously use whatever, a traditional romaine or anything else. Go for it. Make it your own. So the ingredients are, you start with half a cup of hummus, and that replaces the eggs and the oil in a traditional Caesar dressing. Then move on to 2 tablespoons of panko and 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast and a dash of garlic powder. And those 3 replace the Parmesan cheese. They give the dressing that umami as well as the bulk that Parmesan cheese would normally provide. Then we have the standard ingredients. We've got 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, a garlic clove, or more if you like it garlicky like me, a little bit of black pepper, and a half a teaspoon of capers. And the half teaspoon of capers replaces the anchovy paste. So those are the ingredients and the process. Now this gets really complicated, so hold on to your hats, okay? You throw all those ingredients together into either a small blender, or I just use a tall-sided mixing bowl. It's actually more of a mixing cup, I guess. And then I use an immersion blender and just whip it all up, mix it up, blenderize that until it becomes just a nice smooth paste. Perfectly smooth consistency. Basically, you'll know when it's done. Now, if you want, you can add like a tablespoon or so of oil, olive oil, if you want a little bit more creamier taste and mouthfeel. But I find it doesn't add that much. So that's up to you, depending how oil-free you want to be. And if you need a refresher on oil, you should go back and listen to Michelle's episode about fats, because oil is not a food. And that's basically it. I created this literally ingredient by ingredient, first replacing the eggs, then replacing the oil, then replacing the cheese, and then finally at the end replacing the anchovy paste, because I do love anchovies. But I find that everything that replaces these traditional ingredients works really well, and it creates something that is greater than the sum of its parts, quite literally. So that's it. As I say, I'll throw the list of ingredients in the show notes, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you experiment with it and you enjoy it, and maybe try converting some other recipes as well. Okay, and even though I'm alone, I still have to have my requisite dad joke. So since I have no audience, through the magic of podcasting, I'm going to create a supercut of Michelle's reactions to my previous dad jokes. And something tells me that since I'm in control of this supercut, she's going to find this particular joke incredibly funny. Okay, so are you ready? What did one snowman say to the other? Can you smell carrots?
Ah.
I'm so glad that Michelle liked that particular joke. Okay, so that's it for my solo outing of this episode of Nutrition for Noobs Summer Shorts. Something tells me after Michelle hears this, it might be my last solo outing. Anyways, until then, in 2 weeks, we're going to be back to our regular schedule. So we're going to have a full episode for you in 2 weeks in your feed. Until then, if you have any comments or questions, don't forget to email us at noobs@gmail.com. And don't forget, eat your greens. And what was Michelle's tagline? I forget.
Be real, everyone.
This has been Nutrition for Noobs. We hope you're a bit more enlightened about how your fantastic and complicated body works with the food you put into it. If you have a question or a topic you'd like Michelle to discuss, drop us a line at n4noobs@gmail.com. That's the letter N, the number 4, NOOBS@gmail.com. If you haven't already, you can subscribe to the podcast on whatever your favorite platform might be. Also, please consider leaving a review or telling your friends. That's the best way to spread the word. We'll see you next time with another interesting topic. The views and opinions expressed on Nutrition for Noobs are those of the hosts. It is not intended to be a substitute for medical, nutritional, or health advice. Listeners should seek a personal consultation with a qualified practitioner if they have any concerns or before commencing any actions mentioned in the podcast.